When last we left our intrepid adventurers, we had made our way down the hull full of traps. The horrible, horrible hull full of traps, full of nonsense and awful. And we got to the room where everybody fights each other for no reason. That was the name of the room, according to Krosis. So yeah, we entered the room. Lee has gone away.
He didn't like it.
Yeah, didn't like the story.
I got scared.
Okay, so we enter the room, and it's full of, there's lots of lesser chaos creatures. There's some of those spiky guys and hook guys, and there's some gremlins and stuff. They're all fighting. And in the middle of the room, there are these two huge, gigantic Titan-class monster guys that are locked in combat with each other. And the whole room is filled with clouds of dust. So we have a very limited range of vision. We can only see what's immediately around us. And so, let me see now. Who was the one that idiotically charged in first? I guess it would have been Aurora? It's hard to say with
I think it was Aurora.
She charged in.
She charged in because there had been screams coming from here that were like pixie screams or something. We were worried about
Rescuing
innocence.
the pixies.
Yeah, pixies. We're here to rescue pixies. And so she goes running in to see if there's anyone to rescue. And the way this room works mechanically, we learned this in the first few rounds, is that every round that you're in this room, it does at the beginning of your turn, it does a will attack against you. And if it succeeds at its will attack, you attack the nearest creature. And the first time it succeeds, you use an at-will power. The second time it succeeds, you use an encounter power. And presumably the third time it succeeds, you'd use a daily. We never got that far. I said
Lose until you rest?
What was that?
You said lose?
No, use.
Oh, okay.
Use an at-will to attack whoever's nearest to you. Or an encounter, or a daily.
Okay.
I think that was the pattern of it. There was some special stuff involving saving throws.
You don't normally get saving throws, but because people had things that gave saving throws, we made a special thing.
Yeah.
That if you granted a saving throw, you could save against it.
Yeah.
So that seemed reasonable. Since it was just something that Tim made up, so.
Now, I can't remember. Did Aurora do an attack her first?
No, she succeeded.
She succeeded. So the will attack missed Aurora, and so she charged in and found that there was a pixie there. There was also a dead pixie that was on the floor. But the surviving pixie was trying to attack those two titans, and it was trying to melee with them. So it was being completely ignored by the two titans that were attacking each other. And there was this pixie screaming its head off in rage, like trying to punch these things out. It's like a tiny little, like that. I'm gonna kill you with you apart with my teeth.
So really not being effective.
Yeah. And so let me see if I remember the sequence of events. This was over a week ago, so some of it's a little bit vague.
Aurora diplomatized the pixie, who was like he was completely under the control of the room where everyone fights everyone else for no reason. And she managed a very high roll, and she diplomatized him and got him to like break his focus on the giant titans and focus on what she was saying for long enough for him to decide to attack her instead. So he came after her, and she prepared a grab attack and grabbed him and shoved him in a bag and had him trapped in this bag. He was fighting to get out.
Yeah. So very first round, Aurora goes in and secures her objective, stuffs the pixie in a bag. Now, I can't remember who went next. I think Cricket was itching to try and run out there to meet next to Aurora. But is it Cricket that went next? I think Cricket went next. And she failed. The will attack succeeded on her. On her way out, she did a at-will melee attack. Was it against Serendipity? Maybe we'll start more. Top or start trying to do play.
I don't remember who you attacked. It was just a basic attack. I think you missed.
Yeah, I swung my sword at someone.
Yeah, because it was basic at will counter daily. So it was just a basic and you missed.
A bit of a meta thing here. We had, at the end of last session, we were like, oh, it's the room where everyone attacks everyone for no reason. And we were all like, yes, we get to have a battle royale between our characters and find out who's toughest. And so in the weeks between the two sessions, we spent a whole lot of time planning out our strategy on how we're going to take down everyone else and who we're going to attack first and stuff like that. I was thinking Cricket was probably going to go down very quickly because she's a support character.
Yeah.
But I had planned out a strategy which just might work. If I Nova'd all my dailies, I would be able to quite possibly, if I managed to go first and these attacks landed, I could possibly take down the party. And so we were a little bit disappointed almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone was always disappointed when they was like, oh, you succeed, or oh, we'll attack, oh, you failed. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
or, sorry,
You succeeded. You don't have to attack anyone. We were like, oh. And then we're like, okay, you have to attack this guy, but use an at will. And we're like, oh.
Yeah, especially like Shannon really wanted Serendipity to like use her dailies, but she kept like getting up to like encounter and then succeeding back down to like at will. She was so disappointed.
She wanted to like fireball the whole party, and like she had all these cool ideas about how she would take out the whole party, but
Some kind of confusion almost.
well, it turns out it was those two titans in the middle of the room that were responsible somehow. They had some sort of rage field around them or something like that. It got a little bit complicated because we kept switching who we were attacking. You know, we were attacking the mooks, you know, the lesser chaos creatures. We were trying to leave those two titans alone.
Yeah.
At one point, Hank did go and hit them pretty hard because of the rage effects.
It was because first, there was a gremlin in the room. Over where Aurora had gone, there was a gremlin who was sitting on. There's all these. Can you describe? There was all these piles of like dead bodies and offal and whatever. He was sitting on top of this awful garbage and taunting Hank, and he threw a banana peel and hit Hank in the face. And Hank slipped on the banana peel, and he slid him right between the two titans that were pounding on each other. And so on, I think Cricket's turn, she used
Shout of Triumph or something like that.
to pull him back away from the Titans. Then on Serendipity's turn, she failed and was up to, I think, her encounter or something.
Yeah.
So she slid him back in between the two Titans.
Yeah. And then it was finally Hank's turn, so he hit one of the Titans. And he actually hit it hard enough that the Titan noticed it.
Yeah, he used like all this power attack and blah blah blah. And like everyone else who'd been hitting the Titans, they don't even notice. But he's like, I do like 80 damage to the Titan, and the Titan just suddenly paused from its fighting the other one and noticed Hank for the first time, and then proceeded to destroy him for more than 80 damage.
Yeah. Squish. And then went back to fighting the other Titan.
Yeah, I mean he didn't go unconscious or whatever, but I don't remember how much damage he did, but it wasn't fun for
a
Hank.
tremendous amount of damage. At one point during the fight, I was trying to think of various strategies. One idea that popped to mind was timeless trekking with rendating one of the Titans, and then I almost immediately realized, no, that is probably the worst possible idea in the entire universe.
Yeah, because it'll be then you're the target.
Yeah, and then everyone's a target.
Yeah, I'd probably come after you first.
I did sort of hold that in my back pocket. If I got the rage thing up to daily power, that would probably be the most destructive thing I could do. Would be to timeless trek one of the Titans. But
how long does that last?
It's save ends.
Oh, so they'd save
They'd come out of it pretty soon.
Thank you.
But
good on the end.
Okay, so it's poured on.
Alright.
but even one round would probably be devastating because in that round the other Titan would move and go away from where the other Titan would reappear.
Yeah.
And then when it reappeared, they'd be fighting different things. They would be fighting each other. Since everybody in this room was fighting whoever was nearest,
Bit of sausage.
a lot of the mooks and stuff we could deal with simply by, not being the closest one to them at any given time. We were actually able to move around. It's not that bad.
It's medium. I got.
Okay. We were able to move around the room fairly freely because everyone was busy with other fights.
There was like, we kind of glossed over because it's not important, but there were other monsters they were fighting and had to deal with their attacks and whatever. But
I remember we liked shoving some people around near the hook-handed guys because they have a threatening reach, and they were attacking everyone. So it was a convenient way to throw in a little extra damage as if you push someone within range of that. But now, for the story stuff, one of the important events was so Aurora right off the bat shoved that pixie into the bag. Of course, someone else came along and screwed everything up. What was that? How was it?
well, Tim had said that she didn't have a good hold on him, so if she takes any damage or whatever, she should lose grip of him again.
Right. And then Cricket ran over to her to protect her.
And then attacked her.
And then attacked her.
I think that might have been your first round.
Who's that?
rage field, right?
Yeah. Well, there were some crits. That was the thing that was making things interesting. When the rage field crit on you, there was some special effects. And I'm not sure if I ever figured out what the
So you jump 2
mechanics
levels.
of it. Yeah.
So if you'd never failed before and you got a crit, you'd go right to at will and you skip over basic, whatever.
Yeah. So Cricket ran up to Aurora and then failed the rage thing and headbutted her in the face.
Oh yeah.
And so she dropped the bag that had the Sprite in it.
And Aurora was almost kind of even annoyed because everyone's really cranky in this room, of course.
Yeah.
I remember she was like, "Ow, Cricket, that wasn't very nice."
And Cricket was peeved at everyone. It was quite fun. She's had a lot of opportunity to vent in recent sessions.
I don't think she was actually doing this, but we were talking about going around headbutting each person. I'm not a person. I'm not a person.
So the pixie got loose again.
But didn't she demand that Aurora give her an order, and that's what she headbutted her?
Something along those lines. Tell me what to do, ma'am. Yes, that is what happened. I remember that. Our goal was to rescue this pixie. So once it got loose again, I think we went back to fighting a Titan, or was it fighting Aurora?
Who was fighting Aurora?
Yeah. We managed to do something to grab it again.
Someone knocked it out.
Oh yeah.
They,
It just went and did non-lethal damage.
I think it was a minion.
Yeah.
So they just took 1 damage, and they said it was non-lethal. So they just knocked it out, grabbed it, and then people slowly made their way to the door while attacking each other.
And then we had another fun session of how do we shove each other through the door sort of thing to try and make sure. Because we wanted to make sure everyone got through the door without winding up being at the end of their turn next to someone else at the start of their turn sort of thing.
Well, and they didn't want to leave anyone. They didn't want there to be a turn barrier where the monsters got to go.
Yeah, we figured if there was a situation where one person was left behind in the room, they might wind up spending all their time fighting.
Or they might, if no one was nearby, they might end up going to fight the Titans.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make sure no one was left alone. They wanted to get everyone through the door in 1 round if possible.
Right.
I seem to recall headbutting someone through the door.
I know you headbutted someone again.
Yeah.
Aurora made this field where anyone in it got saving throws against dominating effects, which we said applied to this even though you wouldn't normally get a save because it's just a made-up thing. And I remember Shannon, Robin was like, "Okay, Shannon, Serendipity's in the zone." She's like, "No, she's not. She's just outside." "Oh, yeah, you're right." And then eventually Aurora moved so Serendipity was in the zone, and Shannon was like, "Oh, I saved."
So we actually managed to get out of the room with the pixie that we had knocked out. And in the next room, it was this idyllic pastoral room full of trees and grass, and it was nice and relaxing and awesome and everything. And so we weren't fighting anymore. So we woke up the pixie, and the pixie asked, did you see another pixie in there? And we're like, yeah, you kind of killed it. He was like, oh, because it turns out it was like his
Retainer.
aide or something, retainer. Yeah.
It was his retainer. He will be remembered.
Whatever his name was. He thanked us for rescuing him and told us that he was in our debt and identified himself as, what was his name?
I think it was something like Lord Longpants or Lord
Something Pants.
Lord Fancy Pants.
It wasn't Fancy Pants. Blue Pants.
Was it Blue Pants? No, it was like
It was some kind of pants. And he was
Lordy Pants.
Yes.
it was like Lordy Pants. I don't
Lord
remember.
Lordy
Tim
Pants.
remembers.
It's like Bodie McBoatface.
He was the king of the pixies.
Okay.
He was a really high up guy. And so then he thanked us and told us that he was in our debt, but he wasn't doing anything right now because he's fleeing. Zip! And away!
Yeah.
And so we're all like, awesome! Now the king of the pixies owes us a favor in Krosis'
Because I think Krosis said that he died in the real version.
So in the real world he's dead. We can go back in time to before he's dead.
And be like, you owe us.
Yeah, we saved you in a dream. That hasn't happened yet. And that's about where the session ended.
So you're still in the dream.
Yes.
What were you looking for in the dream?
The answers to Krosis' questions.
Which
Which
were
are, why me? And why can't it all end?
so far,
The dream
no
ma-
answers have been
The dream
forthcoming.
hates metaphorical questions like that.
It would have been much better if you just asked, where's the closest sandwich?
Yeah, that's why the party got roped in, because it was like the dream was like, I hate this kind of question. You guys have to help. I'm out.
Go to the hallway of 1,000 corpses.
So yeah, we've probably got at least another session of fighting our way through all this stuff to try and rescue pixies. And whether this answers Krosis' question or not,
Ugh, Hank, you make me so angry. I'm just. Oh, that was less than effective. My poor staff. Oh, I hate you more, Hank, because of this. Oh, Cricket, that really hurt. I wish you wouldn't do that. Ow! It was just starting to get better. Cricket? Seriously? Oh, wow, this place is pretty.